Hey, hey. Welcome to Your Best Podcast. It's Teemaree, your best life coach. Today, we're going to be talking about heal your past. Healing your past, honey. Oh my gosh, yo. Sometimes that feels like such a tall order, right? It's like, oh, how am I going to do this? If that's the way that you feel, don't worry. You are not alone, honey. You are not alone. I'm here for you. And we're going to dive into all kinds of dynamic things that surround the healing of your past. All right. So listen, yo, our past always is coming back to haunt us, man. It's always coming back to haunt us. Okay. We recently, last episode, we talked about inner child healing and inner child wounds. We talked about inner child healing and it was really, really cool and dynamic. So make sure if you haven't already heard that episode that you definitely subscribe and that you listen to that episode after this one. It made me think about healing your past because the truth is our past is always driving, Our past is always influencing our future. And there really is no getting around that. So, if you're tuning in right now and you're interested in healing your past, I applaud you because the first step is already taken care of. You realize that there's something in the past that needs to be taken care of, that needs to be healed, that needs to be resolved. And that's really key because there is always a time in our lives when we are unaware of that information. And that's the hardest time because our past is then influencing our life and we're not understanding why we're getting the results we're getting. We're not understanding why we're attracting the people that we're attracting. We're not understanding why we are on the path to something great and then somehow something, and I'm using air quotes right now, something messes it up. We're not sure why. We're not sure why we start a great friendship and then something happens and it goes away. Right? We're not sure why. That is our own personal dark age. And we all have it. We all have a period in our life where we are not aware that our past is driving our experience. So if you're here today, you're already aware and you want to heal something in your past, I applaud you. I applaud you because you are already at a level of reaching something good. Because without the awareness, we just don't know what we don't know. So we don't think that anything needs to be fixed, right? Our past is always driving, always having some form of influence in our lives. So as, I came to this desire to share on this topic, it was because, it's like, that is so true. And I definitely want to cover it to provide whatever I can in the podcast episode so that you can have an awakening and some sort of opening, right? Here at Your Best, that's what it's all about. During these solos and also with guests, it's about like really giving you your best and giving you ways that you can live your best, right? And that you can open up to starting your path toward living your best, right? So what are childhood wounds? What are childhood wounds, right? It could be a whole bunch of things, right? It can be a whole bunch of things. Sometimes it's a physical wound. Sometimes a childhood wound is a physical wound. Okay? I'll give you an example. So as a girl, I used to love riding my bike full speed ahead and really I grew up as a tomboy. Okay. So I don't know if that term is weird in 2025, right? I don't know if that term is weird, but back in the day, a tomboy was a girl that did a lot of things that were labeled as boy things, right? That's how it was labeled back then. All right. Don't get upset with me. I'm just telling a story, but that's how I grew up. So I used to love to like climb and go on adventures and ride my bike and at full speed and like do all these physical things. And so it was one afternoon where we were outside playing, and I forget who it was now. It was like a neighborhood friend that was like, dude, like ride with me and you'll ride on the handlebars, right? And I'm like, all right, cool, like let's go. And we're going full speed ahead. And an accident occurs where we make an abrupt stop and I go flying off the handlebars, right? And I just totally scraped my arms and everything on the street. And it was just terrible, right? Of course, I'm crying and I'm bleeding and it just sucked. It was just, ugh. So sometimes a childhood wound. Try to say that fast 5 times. It is an actual physical wound, right? So like for a hot minute, like after that, it was like, I'm not getting on the handlebars, dude. Like, no way, right? Because I'm vulnerable in that position, right? So sometimes it's a physical thing that happens that causes us to then kind of hold on to that experience and make decisions based off of that experience, right? So it can sometimes be a physical thing. Sometimes it's something that somebody said, right? So we get teased a lot when we're young. I think I don't know why that seems to be a big part of childhood and just our experiences of, growing up, but teasing happens. Kids say things very abruptly. They can be very mean. They can be very just like, they could just shout out whatever it is that they see. And, they're not thinking of a nice way to put it. And so, it might be someone said something to you, another kid or an adult, or someone labeled you something. And so that can be a childhood wound, right? Where someone said something and now we're making decisions off of what we were told and that pain that it caused us, right? Sometimes a childhood wound is an experience that we have, right? Something that happens. A person leaves, a person comes, there's a death, there's something that happens, but it's an event that happens that then causes us to, again, behave in a way going forward that is based off of that wound we experienced, off that experience, off how it made us feel. And now going forward, we are choosing from that place. We are acting from that place. We are reacting or we are not acting because of how we felt at that time. So childhood wounds are things that cause us to then change an aspect of ourselves or our behavior based off of a hurt that we experienced in the past. And so forevermore, then we're changed a bit, right? And it affects our adult lives because then we're still bringing that reaction, non-reaction, non-participation, whatever it is, to our adult life. And so it begins to continually drive our experience, even though the actual experience starts to become farther and farther and farther and farther and farther and farther in our past. We want to heal our past. We want to be able to let those things go because they do shape our adult lives in ways that we almost always never want, right? We almost always never want that. Okay. And so we want to be able to heal our past. And it begins by even starting to have an awareness around like, oh, are there things in my past that are causing me to act in a way that is catering more to how I felt when that happened and less to who I really am and who I want to be? So here's an example of that. Like I said before, I've always had an adventurous spirit. Back in the day when I was growing up, things I would choose and like to be a part of, they were identified as boy things. I know we've graduated from that understanding, but just so we're clear, right? So I've always had that in me. I've always loved that. I've always loved thrills and fun things and adventures and physical activity. And suddenly, that experience on the handlebars changed a little bit, right? I still went on to do thrilling things in the future, but around that, I was now carrying this wound. I was now carrying this sense of fear or worry. Like, could I trust the person driving? Will this happen again? Kind of thing. And so that's how those wounds show up. And that's how those wounds drive, right? So maybe someone left, someone died, or someone arrived, and that caused you some pain in the past. And so now you are changed a bit and you approach different situations from the change rather than your initial truth, what is more true. Yes, what you experienced was hurtful. Yes, what you experienced, there's a reason why you changed, because you needed to be safer or you needed to be stronger or you needed to whatever, right? But that change you made is removed from the truth of who you really are. That's how we start to identify those childhood wounds and if they're driving our current experience, right? And that awareness is very key because that awareness then helps us to see that we have things in our past that we can heal. We have things in our past that if we take care of it, it's actually going to be a little bit better for our lives. It's going to be a little bit better for our experience, for our expression, right? And for the things that we want actually happening going forward, right? So healing our past is very key and is very important. And the reason why I love life coaching, the reason why I am your best life coach, the reason why I've dedicated my life to this work and not just providing it, honey. Oh no, your best life coach gets coached herself. I love this so much. And the reason why I love this so much, because, and I am not downing therapy at all. Therapy is very powerful for certain things, just like doctors are very powerful for certain things, right? But the tool of life coaching, what I love about it and how it helps to heal our past is that we're looking to the future and we're looking from a place of power. We are looking from a place of having steps, having tools, having awareness, and having a plan in which we can now release the past and let it go. And this is very powerful for those of us who like things done with a timeline, who like things done in a way that feels both logical and experiential. It is very powerful for those of us who want to find healing in a way where we're not just sitting and reliving the past that hurt us, in a way that allows us to move forward toward what we want to do and be and experience, and with tools to really let go and not just ruminate and plumb and discover and rehash, so to speak. Okay. So I really, really, really love that. Now, be clear. Being able to identify unresolved pain is powerful. I'm not inviting you to stay there. I'm just offering this suggestion of, if as you look back at your past, right? And you say, oh, yeah, like the example that I provided, I really love thrilling things. And so why did I stop doing that? Why did I stop seeking thrills? Let's say, oh, Man, it's because, yeah, when I fell off the handlebars, like that really scared me. Or I didn't, now I was aware of danger or whatever, right? So that awareness then is the jumping point. That's just the jumping off point to be able to say, okay, well, now I have I have a face to the name, so to speak. I have something that I know can be healed and I can move forward from there, right? So maybe for you, it's like, yeah, I used to love to like create and I used to be so artistic and I used to be so free. It's like, why don't I do that anymore? Man, what happened? Like, I used to love that, you know? Oh, it's because, boom, someone said something. You got teased or someone made a remark that really hurt you deeply. And then you were just like, yeah, I can't put myself out there again, or maybe I'm not good or whatever. These are the ways that we identify the unresolved pain from our childhood. And the reason why that's important, again, this is not an invitation to sit in the past. There is nothing there for you, honey. There's nothing there. Okay. The past is gone. It is gone. But the residual effects of certain childhood wounds do absolutely affect our lives today. And so no one's saying go back and live in the past. Heck no, honey, get out of there fast. But having the awareness of when we have changed, when we've lost a bit of our true identity in exchange for a fear or a hurt or a way to like protect ourselves from something we didn't like, that's identifying a childhood wound and realizing that we have something to heal to be freer. And that is woohoo! That is key point, PowerPoint. Let's go. All right. That's the rocket ship to your best, is being able to say, hey, yeah, there's something there that made me change the way I normally am. And it's still doing it today, but that's not who I am though. I am this creative person. I love art. I love singing and dancing, whatever that is for you, right? Or I love being adventurous and I love engaging in thrilling things and having fun and being active. Like, oh my goodness, I traded that away for something that, so this is how we begin to identify. And it's really, really powerful, because healing our past is like so key. It's so key. There are so many things that just drive us without us even knowing. And it's really big that we address that because we're leaving so much of life on the table if we don't. That's how we get into those windows of time where we're like, man, why do I keep losing the jobs I get? Man, why don't I attract like a better partner? Man, why don't I get a handle on my finances? Man, why does this keep happening? I want the best in my mind, but why? These are some of the reasons why. And so we want to be able to get into it, man. It's powerful work and it's really, really good stuff. And it absolutely works if you work it, honey. And that's what I love about this. Okay. It absolutely works if you work it. It's so good. So, so good. Mm-hmm. So we begin to take the steps, right? We begin to take the steps. Maybe you've been listening to this episode and something has already come to your mind. And you're like, whoa, dang, I might still have that hurt there. That's key. Congratulations if that's happened. Oh my gosh, like that is so amazing. Maybe you came to this podcast because you're like, heal your past. I am down. I have some things in my closet. I'm just trying to like get that out of there. And that's fantastic too, right? And maybe you just like stumbled onto this right now and you're just like realizing like, oh, whoa, there might be something there for me. Either way, you've been given some tools right here and now of how to begin to identify those unresolved pains from our childhood, right? But then what steps can you take, right? What steps can you take? Well, here's where we get into the work, okay? Because you do have to take steps and you do need help usually through this process, like straight up, okay? This is where life coaching is very, very key. Some folks work with therapists. I highly recommend life coaching, not only because that's what I do, but that's because that's what I use. And for the reasons that I have already expressed. Like, I love that we're not invited to just sit in the past and kind of continue, like, why? It's more like, this happened. I have this unresolved issue. All right, let's move forward. All right, cool, let's go. Here are some tools. Let's work it out. And that's the type of energy that you can look to with life coaching, right? But no matter what, you need help, right? Whether it's a little process, whether it's help with a professional. But the reason why we need help is because these things are deep, and it's been a long time that we've been carrying them. And so different things can happen as we're letting that out, right? But having the help of guidance and having the help of someone there to kind of like bounce things off of is really, really key, right? So like, let's say that awareness has come to you. And so a practical step is you have this awareness now. So then you're like, okay, right? So what is that behavior? What is that behavior that you then adopted based off that hurt, right? Can you start to reverse that behavior, to take back, to reclaim that sense of your truest self, right? So in the case of the artist, can you start to take the steps to reclaim your artistry and reclaim your creative nature again, right? So the reason why usually having guidance is key, even with like that practical step, is because then what'll happen is you may be on a really positive day and you're saying, absolutely yes, and I'm going to do it. But to truly cleanse this off, you want to be able to do this over a period of time. And often when we're left by ourselves, trying to navigate these waters, that's why, even though it is possible, it takes so long, is because our emotions come back in, those fears, those doubts, or we get busy and we forget. And so we just drop the ball, so to speak, on doing the good work of cleansing ourselves from that hurt and reversing that action, right? So that's where guidance comes in here and really, really provides the service of being able to say, all right, like, let's keep going. Here are some practices. Okay, so the accountability comes in, or the practices to actually do so you could get rid of that childhood hurt. That helps. Or just having someone that is going to guide you, encourage you, keep you accountable, keep you focused, all of those things and more, right? But there are practical steps to take, and that's one of them. One of them is definitely finding the awareness. What is the wound? Where is it? So what and where is it inside of you? Next practical step is part of the awareness, and that is, what did you change? What did you change? How did you come away from your truest self, right? So I gave you some examples of what that might look like, but that's that second awareness and a practical step toward clarity and toward finally moving past that. The third thing is being able to say, like, okay, well, is there a way that I can reverse this behavior, right? So that I'm giving you practical steps of how you can take care of this and begin to walk this walk toward healing your past, right? So, but the fourth step and the main practical thing to do is then seriously to get help, and to get help with maintaining that positive and healthy trajectory. Because as I explained before, doing it on your own, it is possible. I will never tell you that it is not. It just takes longer and it's riskier, because when you go about it alone, you are susceptible to, giving in to the memories of the hurt, to giving in to the reasons why you put those boundaries and made those changes in the first place, and just not going through with actually, getting rid of that childhood wound, actually healing your past. So being able to stay the course, be accountable, have tools to process those emotions, and be able to make those actual steps a reality, like, that's key. So you want to be able to get help to heal your past. And, it just really works if you work it. And the reason why you want to continue to do these things, why we all do, listen, we all do, okay, is because these wounds, they show up in the weirdest ways, right? But they show up always at the things that are most important to us. Okay. So like, it'll show up in our relationships, right? So maybe you're like, oh, cool. Like I, really found this person that I really, really like, and I really want to go forward with them. But then like you'll say something or you'll do something or you will refuse to do something. You'll basically perform an action that will push that person that you're really interested in genuinely away, or that will suddenly make you unavailable, or you will literally sabotage the relationship in some way. These things are happening all the time when we don't take care of our past, right? Or maybe you're like, man, I really want to have more out of life. Like I really want to have more. I want to have, more money. I want to have more influence. I want to have, you know, more health. I want to have more, right? And you genuinely want that. Like you really do. You've created the vision board, you journal about it at night, you pray, you do the things, right? And you're like, I really, really want this, right? And you're reading books, right? But you're not really doing the things. You're not really investing in your future by getting help to achieve what you want to achieve. You're not really maybe, asking for the raise or trying to get a better paying job or, investing in yourself to make the change or buying and eating better food or, you know what I'm saying? So it's like there's this kind of surface want, but then when it comes time to actually really doing it, like really investing yourself, your money, your time, your attention, right? And following through, like you're not doing it. These are signs and ways that our past, those hurts from the past, those childhood wounds, they show up that way. And so pretty soon you're just like confused. And those are usually the people that are saying, I tried it all though. I tried it all. See, here's the thing. You didn't try it all though. You intended to try it all, right? And so you dabbled. You signed up for the thing, but you didn't follow through, right? You got onto the email list, but you didn't actually invest in the coaching. And again, these aren't attacks. Like we've all experienced these things. What I'm outlining here is how these childhood wounds, how these past hurts, how they show up and why we then end up confused. We're like, I don't get it. Like I tried it all. Why am I not losing the weight? Why am I not getting the partner? Why am I not getting noticed at work? Why am I not? Why am I not? Why am I not? And these are signs that there's something deep in our past that is it's driving us to do things that are opposite of who we really, really are and what we really, really want. And so it's really key, man. It's really, really key because these past hurts, they're sneaky. And we don't even realize that they're influencing so much, but they are. And so wanting to heal our past and really doing the work to do it is so key. It is so important and is so valuable for our lives and the quality of our lives, right? So it's like, then there's this whole other dimension. And this is why I also recommend like working with a great professional because, and of course, look, that I'd love to work with you, but whoever you feel is good for you, right? The reason why it's really key is because there's this time in the process where having compassion and love and grace is so key, right? It's key to get to the truth of the matter. It's key to let go of the things that hurt us. It's key to be able to understand and be vulnerable in the way that we felt, right? Because we kind of need to do all those things to just really, truly let it go, right? we kind of need to truly let it go. And the only way we can let it go is by accepting all of it and just kind of like having the tools to move past that thing. The thing happened. It is already done, right? It's been done. But are holding on to it either by insisting that now we have to control things or be different so it never happens again. And, and holding on to unforgiveness, holding on to, feeling like we got to save ourselves or whatever it is, right? I can never do my art again because that one person, like that one review or like my mom or my dad or my brothers, like they heckled me and like it just was terrible. And like, I must be bad. No. But we have to balance that no with a compassion for all of it, just like a love, a grace, right? And it is easier said than done because there are moments when we're examining and moving past where, we may easily feel upset again, So it's like to be able to walk that walk is really key because it's like whatever happened, it could be something so simple. That physical hurt, that emotional pain, that person that left, that came, the thing that they said, whatever happened, that's not the truth of who you are. That's not the truth of the value you hold. That doesn't have to be the truth anymore. That was a moment in time. It was a blip, right? And the only thing that extends it in our lives is our insistence to keep making that same choice over and over again, to keep insisting that that is such an important piece of our lives that now we're going to just continue to operate this way. The way we make that change is by insisting the opposite. And yeah, it takes work and yeah, emotions come up and yeah, we have to, walk a path to really cleanse it off. But you know what? It's possible. And it's awesome, right? It's possible and it's awesome. So yeah, and there's plenty of examples, right? I've been teased. I fell off the handlebars. I've had childhood wounds that are way deeper than that, having to do with my upbringing and so on and so forth. Whatever it is, okay? It happened. It's in the past. If the choice that you made when that thing happened is different than the true essence of you, that's a wound that's still driving. And so the call here is to love yourself enough to be able to look at that, have the awareness, and choose something new. Choose something that is more aligned with the amazing, phenomenal, multifunctional, dimensional, incredibly creative, fantastic, powerful, strong, joyous creation that you are, being that you are. Healing our past, overcoming trauma. It is key. It is key for us to be able to live a free life, to live a joyous life, to live an authentic life, to live our best life. So, what are you ready to let go of today? What are you ready to let go of today? What past hurt are you ready to let go of today? Or better yet, what aspect of yourself are you ready to reclaim today? What aspect of yourself did you leave behind? Did you choose against when you got hurt? that you are ready to say, no, I'm taking that back, definitely be sure. You better be sure, honey. You better be sure to, if you're listening and watching on a platform where you can comment, you better comment it. You better share with the class, honey. Okay. And if you are listening in a space where you can't comment, maybe you're driving, maybe you're doing something right now. Okay. You better remember to reach out to teemaree.com/contact and you better message me. Okay. Because your best life coach is in session, honey. Okay. And we are working it out. So you better reach out and you better let me know and share, because this is how we begin the process. Okay. You are not alone in this. All right. This is all about healing your past so you can have the best future and the best present that is available to you. All right. So be sure. And if you have not, you better follow this podcast, because there's tons more good where this came from. You better definitely rate us on Spotify and Apple, and definitely come back to the next episode. If you're ready to do the work, okay? If you're ready to do the work, you truly want to be free from this, hit me up for life coaching. My life coaching program is phenomenal. It can help you. You can access it wherever you are in the US and even the world. So definitely reach out at teemaree.com or at bestlifecoaching.online. This has been Heal Your Past on Your Best Podcast, and I'm Teemaree, your best life coach, signing off for now. Can't wait to see you next week. Bye.